Hi everyone, Puma here, and for today's video I thought I would go and make a speculation video on book 4 for Legend of Korra. Since book 3 just ended, a lot of questions are still left unanswered, as well as it leaves us with a lot more things that we were wondering about, and I just thought I could go and voice what I think might happen, as well as list some questions that I hope we finally get answers to in book 4, considering that it's the last season of Legend of Korra itself. So before I start with the questions I want to see answered in book 4, here's my actual speculation. So things I'm predicting include the Earth Kingdom getting restored. With Earth Queen Hu Ting getting killed off in book 3, they kind of need a new ruler or new leader to go and bring the Earth Nation back into order. And personally for me, I think that the best person fit for the role would be Suyin Beifong, just because she's already the matriarch of Zaofu, which is a fantastic city, and if anyone could restore the Earth Nation back into a respectable land rather than one overridden by peasants and thieves, it'd probably be her. And also I think that the Earth Kingdom would probably then be renamed into a different type of thing, because it will no longer be a monarchy but a democracy, seeing that Suyin hates monarchies and kings and queens. Next up is Mako and Bolin's family. With the fall of the Earth Kingdom and whatnot, we saw Mako and Bolin's family who lived in Ba Sing Se get evacuated to Zaofu. Personally, to me, this is probably one of the lesser important things on my speculation list, but I'll talk about it anyways, and it's probably just where are they going to stay, what are they going to contribute to the plot. I think that Mako and Bolin's family will probably stay in Zaofu, unless the spirit vines from the beginning of book 3 clear up, in which case they'll stay with them in Republic City. And I think that the family will be touched upon more once the Earth Kingdom issue is resolved. We might see clips of them being all happy and stuff when they move back into Ba Sing Se. Next up on the list is Korra. Now this is a slight spoiler for those of you who haven't watched the ending of book 3. If you haven't, turn away from this video. The rest of this is pretty much episode 12 onwards. But yeah, Korra got pretty badly messed up because of the venom of the Red Lotus. And she's in a state of depression, she's in a wheelchair, and she's kind of not doing anything anymore at the moment. It's obvious with each book that Korra reaches a new stage of maturity. In book 2 she was kind of a temperamental brat. In book 3 she started becoming more of a mature mediator type, and I'm pretty sure that after overcoming the angst that she's been put through at the end of book 3, she's going to continue to go down this whole trend of maturing. I think that her getting out of the wheelchair, within the first 3 episodes of book 4, she's going to go and overcome that. Now we have Jinora, who is the newly crowned airbending master, having her tattoos. Personally, me and my friends who watched the series, we all thought that she kind of looks like Aang now. Out of Tenzin's 3 children, it's pretty obvious that Jinora is the one who's been getting the most character development. In book 2, finally becoming more significant than her sister and brother. Book 3, she gets a love interest. I think there's going to be a lot of focus on Jinora, and if there's any spirit world related quests, we're going to see a lot more Jinora in that sense too. That, and I'm pretty sure her relationship with Kai will be further explored upon now that she's a master and he's still a pupil. So there might be a little bit of conflict in that sense, because she has to go and take more responsibilities than he does. Now we also have Zahir. At the end of book 3, Zahir has probably one of the few distinctions amongst Avatar villains by being the first main villain in Legend of Korra to not get killed off. Just the fact that he's alive and that he had such a huge presence as a villain in the first place, or an antagonist, it means that he's definitely going to make a return in book 4. Not just that, but he also has the new airbending ability of flight, which is not something that anyone's ever seen before, so again, I'm pretty sure a lot of fans would be wanting to see a lot more of Zahir, just because he's such a mysterious character even though he was a villain. Although it's likely in book 4 he's gonna be just not as major an antagonist, or he might not be the major antagonist towards the end of the book, just because he's only one member of a much bigger organization. I'm 100% positive that since Zahir's still alive, if Zahir's gonna make a return, there's no doubt that the Red Lotus will make a return as well. We've only just started to see some of the members of the Red Lotus. I'm pretty sure that there's plenty more Red Lotus members out there. And it's likely that the main antagonist of book 4 will be the Red Lotus's current leader. Whether that's also its founder, Zhai Bao, or not is yet to be seen, but definitely whoever's in charge of the Red Lotus will be the main antagonist of book 4. And finally, the most important thing in my opinion to speculate is the name of book 4. I've come up with 5 different names that it could be. 2 of them reflect a positive aspect, 2 of them reflect a negative aspect, one of them sort of in between. Positive names would be balance or harmony. Since the world is thrown into chaos, there's definitely going to be a theme of balancing and bringing things back into peace and bringing the world back together, so balance and harmony would definitely represent that, since those would be themes that would be explored upon by main characters as they help try to bring the world back together. It could also be called, in the negative sense, discord or chaos because of like all the havoc the world is going through, and also the fact that the book would be called Chaos, and then when the book Chaos would be over, it'd be symbolic to the idea of that like the chaos in the world of the Avatar is already over. And it could also be a nod to like what's going on in the Earth Kingdom, how the world's taking up with these new changes, the spirit vines and like the spirits themselves inhabiting Republic City. So yeah, like the sort of chaos and discord that's going on through that, and also the Red Lotus itself. And the name that I think would fit both scenarios the best would be Order, because it represents the Order of the Red Lotus, Order of the White Lotus, Order as in like balance and harmony. So I think out of the 5 names I suggested, I think Book 4 Order would sound the most fitting. Now here are just some things that I hope that like we can all learn more about when it comes to Book 4. The first on my list would be Lin's parents. In Book 3 we finally got to learn more about like the Beifong family. We got to go and meet Lin's half-sister Suyin as well as all of Suyin's kids. We've heard a little bit more about what happened to Choth. She's like apparently on like a journey to find herself. That Lin and Suyin are half-sisters, which meant that Toph had 2 different male partners. So what I want to know is like who exactly are the parents? Like who's Lin's father? Was he like an actually important character? Who was Suyin's father? Same question. Like is the reason why we're not being told who their fathers were because they were like really insignificant? Or were they at least like characters introduced from The Last Airbender? Like that's something I want to know. And hopefully, if we're told who the father is, it would be by none other than Toph herself, who would hopefully also make a return. Next up on my list of things I want to know about is Zuko's daughter. Since we're already on the topic of families, I want to know a lot more about Zuko's daughter. I mean, we know she's the Fire Lord. She was mentioned a lot in Book 3, and I think also in Book 1 too if I think about it, because like her son Ira talked about her. Probably the 2 biggest questions for Zuko's daughter are, what's her name? Probably the question that all fans want to know is, who's the mother of this new Fire Lord? The final thing I want to know about that I'm hoping Book 4 will tell us is what happened to everybody else. I mean, we've got some like really awesome characters like Sokka and Suki, Azula, Ty Lee, Mai, however you pronounce her name, and Fire Lord Ozai, who are all like incredibly relevant to the original series plot, but we've heard like little about a lot of these characters. I mean, we know a bit about what happened to Sokka, but we don't really know what happened to him after the flashbacks that we saw in Book 1. I want to know like what happened to all the other characters from The Last Airbender that had some relevance to the plot, and yeah, I just want to see their stories meet like happy ends, bad ends, so on and so forth. Yeah, so that's it for today's video, and I will see you guys soon. Korra, Pima channel,